That's going to be 90% of what you're going to see. The engine was overheated for one reason or another. A lot of times it's going to be because it developed a leak, which failed to turn on the cooling fans, which failed to cool the engine. The engine overheats. The aluminum expands to a point it can no longer keep the head gasket flat. And a couple of combustion cycles, the gasket will burn. It burns, it separates, no power in the engine. So in a lot of cases, little four-cylinder engine, you lose power on 2 cylinders, it don't go far. Don't go far and it don't go fast. So again, you will run into the occasional backyard tech who put a head gasket on the car. He reused the bolts, so the bolts failed. Or he put the wrong sealant on there. Normally we do not seal a head gasket. You don't put anything on it. You take it out of the box, you make sure it's clean and dry. Same thing with the surfaces, clean and dry. Put the gasket on, put the head on. New bolts, if they're torque to yield, which is real important to find out. Some guys don't take the time to look and realize it when it comes back that they were torque to yield bolts, and we should have put new bolts in it. Surface prep is critical on some cars, and I'm not picking on them, they do a good job. The Fords, the surface prep is very, very important. You can't use certain, I showed you the cookies and things. On some of the Fords, you cannot use those on the surfaces. Most of the Fords, you have to use this, even though it is cast iron. And these are made for aluminum. You do not use these type cookies on the cast iron blocks of the Fords. Okay. They have a certain finish on there, and they want to maintain the finish. If you use the regular abrasive cookies, they will take that finish off, and the gasket will not seal. So the gasket will actually move around in there. So again, all data can be your friend. You can be your worst enemy. This is the photo I was referring to. It is in your textbook. But again, this shows the movement between the two different metals and how they react with each other and how they do not react the same. This entails why we have a multi-layered head gasket. So you can allow each one to move at its own rate without affecting the other one or destroying the gasket. Okay. You can go back and visit this later. Okay. This is really not necessary here. But again, remember you'll have specific gaskets to do specific things. Intake manifold gasket can be one. The exhaust manifold gasket, because of the heat. Lots of times we use a steel exhaust manifold gasket. It's a one-piece steel shim. And as long as the surfaces haven't been beat up or banged, they'll seal up extremely tight there. Oil pan gaskets, exposed to a lot of oil. You can't have something that's going to soak the oil up. A lot of them is why we've gone to the rubberized silicone with the steel shim. And you'll also find some of these around the bolt holes. You'll actually find a washer embedded into the silicone, which doesn't allow you to over-tighten it. Okay? A lot of times you put a gasket on, crank it down until it squishes or mushes all the way to nothing. Okay? So they prevented that, and even on some of the oil pans, you'll find actually a washer on the outside that prevents you from squeezing it too tight. Okay. EGR valve, again, it's the exhaust side, so it will use a metal type gasket. Because of the exhaust temperatures, the extreme heat. So any type of paper and it can burn, but if it doesn't have a steel one, it's going to have this one with the foil facing. Something else is out.
Take a sheet down. Sheets, land, jump on that. Go. You know this, you know this shit, bro.
And again, this is a note there. Head gaskets themselves, I think I mentioned this before. You need to find out why it failed. What caused it to fail. If that vehicle overheated, that's what we need to fix. We need to find out why it overheated. Did it have, you actually, once you get it back together, you have the gasket on, start it up, then you start looking for the reason it overheated. Was there a coolant leak? Is there a blown hose? The fans don't work. Thermostat. Putting the head gasket on, you should be putting a new thermostat in it just in case. Yeah. Oh yeah. Prep. Get all, cover all your bases. Drain the radiator, new coolant. Get it started. Run it. Get it up to temperature. See what's going on. Do the fans come on? They don't come on. If they don't come on, we need to figure out why. Bad relay, no current, no voltage, sensor gone bad. Again, what caused it to overheat? And adhesives, this is really, you don't need this. When we talk about adhesives, they're the RTVs, silicone in the tube. In some cases, they are gasket makers. Again, you need to get the details. Is that what we're using instead of a gasket? In some cases, no, you do not use anything. Two metal surfaces go together. You clean them up, put them together, and that's done. The big mistake is we squeeze it out the tube and then put it together. And that's incorrect. Okay. The other thing too is we squeeze too much out the tube. Silicone this thick won't do anything. It'll never drop. Okay. So you can't squeeze out too much and hope the two parts stay together. It's not a glue. It's not made to hold the two parts together. It's actually made to form a seal between the two parts. A very, very thin seal. Okay? A lot of cases you use it sparingly. A little is better than too much. Okay. I think you're getting a kick out of watching.